So guys, to write our login functionality, so I'll open up this src folder. Inside that I'm having one folder called ml project. Just try to open it up. See, either you can separately create one logger folder. Inside that you can write that login. Either what you can do, you can use this constructor file to write the login. Okay, so whenever I'm using this constructor file, so it would be easy for me to import that log. So I don't need to write actually too many import operation there. Let's say from src .ml project .logger import logger, not like that. I can directly import like that. Let's say from ml project import logger. Okay, so these kinds of thing actually we can do. So for this we'll be using this constructor file. Inside that we'll be writing our log. So let's open up this constructor file, and I already prepared one custom log. Guys, let me tell you how you can write your custom log. So guys, as you can see, this is my custom log, and this log how we can create I already discussed in my Python implementation. So you can see guys, this is the logging, custom logging we have created. So this is my login string. So here we are saving the ASCII time, then label name, like log label name, then module, as well as the masses. Then it will create a folder called log. Inside that it will create a file called running log. Inside that it will save all the logging information. So you can see this is my login configuration. Inside that I'm doing the file handler as well as the stream handler. So what is file handler? File handler means it will save everything in the file, and stream handler it will also show you in the terminal as well. Okay, then this is my final logger object. Now let me show you how it will work. So let's import this login somewhere. So I'll import, let's say, in the main.py. So I'll just try to import like that. Let's say from ml project, because ml project has been installed as my local package right now. Let me show you. So if I show you the pip list, because I think you already know we installed setup.py, right? Now you can see this ml project. Now you can see guys, this folder installed as my local package right now. You can see it is coming from local. That means whatever things I have inside ml project, I can import easily. There would be no error, right? So that's why we can import ml project like that. So from ml project, I want to import logger, because it is inside the constructor file. Okay, that's why we can directly import this logger. Okay, logger object. Now simply, if you want to log something, just write logger.info. Inside there, just try to mention your log. Let's say I will mention welcome to ml project. Okay, let me save. Now if I execute, see what will happen. It will create a log folder here. So python main.py. Left hand side you can see it has created one logs folder. Inside that it has created one file called running log. Inside that it has created one file called running_log.log. Now let me open it up. You can see, first of all, it will save the current timestamp and date. So when I executed this program, so this is the date and this is the time. This is the info level log. This is the file. That means from this file actually it is executing, and this is the log message. That means whatever, let's say, setup configuration you have given, ASCII time, label name, module name, message, everything will save here. I hope it is clear. Now if I execute for the next time, let's say I'll give another message here. Welcome to channel. So see, it will also save another line. Okay, at the very first. Got it? Now I think you got it how to write the custom log. Fine. Now also let's write the exception as well as the utility. As I already told you, exception I'm not going to write separately. We'll be using box exception. Okay, so for this we'll be writing this exception in the utility itself, right? So let's open up my utility. Inside that you are having one file called common.py. Let's me open it up. And now you can ask me what is utility. Utility means, see, the same function you will be using again and again in your implementation. Let's say I want to read this YAML file. So I need to read this YAML file in each and every, let's say, component, data ingestion, data validation, model trainer, right? See, every time I don't need to write the same function again and again for reading this YAML file. So what I will do, I'll create only one function for the read YAML. I'll keep inside the utils, and whenever I need it, I will import from there. Okay, this is called actually code reusability. And these are the utility related function. Okay, these are the utility related function. This utility related function helps you to implement the projects without repeating that function again and again. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now I already prepared some of the utils function you need for this implementation. Let me show you. So guys, these are the utility related function you need. See, very simple. So let me select my environment. So click here. So this is my environment ML project. Okay, so now this error would be disappeared. Now guys, you can see I'm importing some necessary library. And here you can see I'm importing this exception from the box itself. That means the library we installed now, box, Python box. So here we are importing this box value error instead of writing our custom exception. Okay, then YAML, then logger, then JSON, job lib, then ensure. I'll tell you why ensure is required. then config box, even I will also tell you what is config box. Then path, I think you already know what is path, because with the help of path we can solve the path issue. If I want to run this project in a different operating system, okay, then typing any. So these are the library I'm importing one by one, and see, these are the function I created. So read YAML. So this read YAML will take the YAML file path and it will return you the YAML content. Okay. Then I've created another function called create directory. Let's say you want to create a directory here. You can use this function. So going forward will be whenever we'll be creating the component. That means whenever we'll be doing the data ingestion, data validation, model trainer. So it will save the artifact, yes or no. It will ingest my data. It will save inside a folder. It will train the model. It will save inside a folder. For this, I have to create some of the folders and directory, right? So we'll be using this create directory that time. Then if you want to save anything in a JSON format, you can use this function. If you want to load anything in a JSON format, you can load this function. You can use this function. If you want to save any binary, you can use this function. If you want to load any binary, you can use this function. That's how I created some of the utility related function which you may require, okay, in your project implementation. So all the functionality I won't be using, but I kept just for your reference. If you want to use them later on, you can use it as it is. Then get size. Let's say you want to check any size of a file, you can use this function as well. Now guys, you can see with the help of box exception, I'm adding the exception layer as well. If any exception is going on, it will also throw the exception. Got it? Now let me tell you what is this config box and what is this ensure annotation. Okay, why we're using in each and every actually function. Okay, why it is required. So for this, what I will do guys, I will open up my resource. So you can see there is a resource trials.ipynb I created. So inside these trials, we'll be doing the experiment. Like we'll be learning why we're using this at the functionality. Okay, these are the thing. Now let me first of all select the kernel. So Python environment, I'll be selecting my ML project. Okay, it's fine. Inside that, first of all, I'm going to create so inside this resource folder, I'm going to create a YAML file. So let's say I'll give it as test.yaml. And inside this YAML, I'm going to write some content. Let's say, first of all, I'll write the name. Let's say Bappy. Then I will also write the email. Let's say I'll add my email. Okay, now this YAML file I'm going to read from this notebook itself. For this, you can use this code snippet. So there is a package called YAML inside Python. We already installed YAML, I think you remember. So with the help of YAML, you can load this YAML. So this is my location of the YAML file, test.yaml, you can see. And I'm opening this YAML file. Then I'm loading with the help of safe load function, okay, inside YAML. Now, if I show you the data, whatever content it is returning. See, if I execute, see, whatever content I have inside the YAML file, it is returning. And if you see the type, if you see the type of this data, it's a nothing but it's a dictionary. Okay, it's a dictionary. That means by default, if you're using any YAML file, if you're reading something, any content from the YAML file, it will give you dictionary, output, dictionary data type output, right? So now if I want to, let's say, extract the name, so what I have to do, guys, I think you know how to play with the dictionary, how to, let's say, access any element inside a dictionary. For this, we have to use the key name. So what I will do, I'll just write data. I'll give this square bracket. Inside that, I'll pass the key name. Let's say name. Name is my key, and it will give me Bappy. Similar ways, you can also extract the email. Okay, email. It will give you email. Okay. So every time I just need to define the square bracket. Inside that, I have to give the key name. But can I call like that? Let's say if I just write data dot name. Can I call like that? If I execute, will it work? See, it won't be working. It will give me error. That means dict object has no attribute name. But this actually syntax is more convenient than this syntax. I don't need to write square bracket. I don't need to write double quotation. I can directly specify the key name and I can get the value, right? But it's not happening here. So for this, we'll be using something called config box. Okay. So config box will give you this kinds of functionality so that you can get these kinds of output. Let me show you how it can be done. So first of all, let's import this config box from the box. So box import config box. So inside config box, okay, you have to pass the data object, whatever data object actually you got after reading the YAML file. Okay, so it will give you, let's say it will give you the data D. Okay, now see if I execute, now if I show you the D, now you can see it's a config box type right now. Now I can easily call the name. Okay, d.name, so it will give me name. And if I call d.email, it will give me the email. Okay, that means if you want to call like that, you can do it with the help of config box. Config box will give you these kinds of ability. and this is like more convenient than this one. Okay, so this is a new package, that's why I thought let's also show you how we can use them in our implementation. With otherwise, if you're not using it, it's completely fine, but every time you need to call like that. Okay, that's why I thought let's me show you this one as well, so that whenever we are reading any kinds of YAML file, so that we can let's say return all the, let's say, content as a config box type output, so that we can extract like that. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Now let me show you the next one, which is nothing but ensure annotation. Why ensure annotation is required? For this, let me show you another example. So ensure annotation. So let's say here I'm having a function. The function name is get product. So it takes two number, x and y. Both are integer type, and it will give you x times y. Okay, this is the product function we have created. Now if you pass any value inside that, so it will give you the product yes or no. That's x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4, it will give you 8. But if I pass like that, let's say x is equal to 2, y is equal to string of 4, will it work that time? Because here you have mentioned integer, but here you are trying to pass string. Now see, if I execute, still it will work. Okay, still it will work. It is giving me 44 because it is multiplying this integer with the string, and that means it is repeating this string that number of time. That means 2 times. You can see 4. Okay, so let's say you have written a very big project and you are getting this kinds of unexpected output. That time you will go mad, like what is happening in my code? It is not giving me error, but you are getting unexpected output because of that. Because here you have already said it should be integer, but still you are able to give the string type input. Okay, it's not actually fair, right? So to overcome this issue, actually we can use one package called ensure annotation. So inside ensure, we're having the ensure annotation functionality. So let me import it. Then whatever function you have written, only you just need to add the decorator. Okay, so ensure annotator decorator on top of the function. Okay, now see what will happen. Now if I try to give the integer, it will work, but whenever you will try to give the string, it will throw you error. So it is throwing error. Argument y type class string, function object does not match annotation type class int. That means here it is expecting integer type, but you are given the string type. Okay, that's how we can fix this kinds of small error, and we can make our code more robust. I hope it is clear now. Now I think you got it, guys, why we are using ensure annotation on top of all the function here. All right, great. So this is my entire actually login exception as well as the utility implementation. So guys, we are done with the login, utility, and exception. Now the next thing I'm going to show you the project workflows. Like here you can see we are having like so many files and folder. Now there would be a question in your mind, which folder I have to change first, which folder I need to change last. Okay, for this I always need to follow one workflow. Like here I'll be writing the workflow, that means step by step actually folder name, file name, so that you can refer that and you can update the code, right? So after showing you the workflow, what we'll do, we'll try to implement the entire project in our Jupyter notebook. That means this wine quality dataset will be getting, and we'll be performing all the EDA, feature engineering, model training, okay, model evaluation. Will be performing each and everything on our Jupyter notebook. Like whatever things you have learned so far, like Jupyter notebook implementation, will be performing that. Then I will show you how we can convert the Jupyter notebook as our end-to-end pipeline. Okay, so that understanding would be more clear. I can also start directly coding the modular coding, but what will happen, you will get some difficulty to understand, right? Like how we are getting the pipeline, how this code is coming from here, right? So after implementing the Jupyter notebook implementation, it would be easy for you to get everything, because I'm going to copy the code in my from my Jupyter notebook in my modular coding. That is what actually we'll be doing, right? Okay, so let me first of all show you the project workflow.